Both Mosby and Comptroller Bill Henry are on the 5-person Board of Estimates, and both say that the mayor has too much power to get things passed, having control of 3 of the 5 votes necessary to approve anything that comes before the board. Mosby says his charter amendment would remove the mayor's unfair advantage, leaving the mayor, comptroller, and the city council president with equal power on the board. Baltimore's powerful Board of Estimates provides oversight for city spending, approving millions of dollars in taxpayer-funded contracts for city services at every meeting. Currently, there's a 5-member board, with the mayor having a vote and 2 of his appointees having votes, the director of DPW and the city solicitor.
It's a 5-member board, and 3 of the votes vote in unison, just because of the nature of 2 of the members report up to the mayor.
City Council President Nick Mosby says the current 5-member board gives too much power to Baltimore's mayor, which led to Mosby introducing this charter amendment at a city council meeting on May 16th. It would strip down the board to 3 members, removing Mayor Brandon Scott's 2 appointees. How would the Board of Estimates be different if it were a 3-member body?
Well, it would just be 3 independent votes. It wouldn't be 1 vote having the majority of votes on the body.
Many have critiqued the Board of Estimates as a rubber stamp for the mayor's office, rather than a necessary check and balance on how taxpayer dollars are spent. That's not a quote from Mosby. It's a quote from Brandon Scott when he was city council president back in 2020. 4 years ago, Scott introduced a charter amendment that was nearly identical to Mosby's. It proposed removing the mayor's 2 appointees and making the board a 3-member body, saying the mayor had too much control over the board. What's your reaction to that?
I think that when we look at the makeup of the Board of Estimates being a 5-member board and 3 of the voting members vote in unison, it's problematic.
Both Mosby and City Comptroller Bill Henry say their issue isn't with Mayor Scott specifically. It's with the mayor of Baltimore having too much power in general. Henry told 11 News Investigates in a statement that versions of this charter amendment are brought up every year, and he says it's time to let voters decide the question in November. Henry added, as Mayor Scott said himself when he introduced the same charter amendment 4 years ago as council president, the public has entrusted us to clean up city government so that it is less prone to corruption, more efficient, and more supportive of our local communities. Reducing the Board of Estimates to the 3 elected members, all with equal weight to approve or reject city contracts involving taxpayer dollars, is one way we can do that. 11 News Investigates asked Mayor Scott's office about how he will respond to this legislation and about the fact that he introduced a similar charter amendment back in 2020. We have not heard back, but we will update our story online if we do. If Mosby's charter amendment is approved by the city council, and if Mayor Scott does not veto it, it would then be put on the ballot in November for voters to decide. For 11 News Investigates, I'm Tolly Taylor.